welcome to our channel, RealTing. I'm Tara.
Hi, I'm Audrey, and welcome to our 911 Season 3, Episode 13. And this is called Pinned.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Not a problem. Okay, so the show opens with a bowling alley employee urging his boss to make him a manager. This guy was so cute.
He was so adorable.
I
He's
know.
just like, so can I be the manager? Oh, please, just let me be the manager.
Yeah, no. And she basically tells him she has to give this position to her nephew, who is a
useless. Yes, youth.
Useless. So he's the young employee guy's Jarrett. He's trying to, he wants to move along, and he sees that the nephew doesn't do anything.
No, he's just like,
he's just standing around like.
It's like, oh, can you please go and clear out aisle 5, lane 5, and he's just like, whatever. What?
So Jared talks with the manager, whose name is Arlene, and she wasn't really open for it, and he goes, okay, fine, whatever. So he goes off getting ready to punch out, and she tells Wade's youth that she's going to be working on lane 5.
See, aisle. I know, I get the same thing.
On lane 5 because the pins are stuck, so she has to go in the back area to get there.
But of course, with you is just going, yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's not paying any attention to what she says. And these kids come up when they're, oh, that aisle isn't working, so we're going to go over to aisle 5. Is that okay?
And he's just like,
sure. And it's like, oh, God, something's coming.
Right?
Something's coming. Yeah. So she goes in the back where the sticks are and everything, and there's this big mechanism in there. And of course, she sticks her arm in to fix the stuff that's in there. And of course, the people start to play.
Right? And so it's like, so they're playing, and all you see is the gears on the thing start to and she's like, and then the next thing you see is like one ball come out of the thing, and it's like blood on it, and the little girl's like, ah!
I know. So the team comes in to rescue her, and of course Jared is there to help because Waysud is still behind the counter going,
right?
He has no clue what's happening.
Right? And it's like, they asked Waysud, like, how do you turn off the thing? And Waysud is like, I don't know.
He knew nothing about anything.
So Jared said, come on. Yeah. And then he shut off everything.
Yeah,
and
he was able to shut off everything. And the guys are trying to figure out how they can get her out because she's pinned right into the elements of all the mechanisms. And Buck came up with the idea to use the mechanism as a splint for her arm. So they didn't really take her arm out of all of that stuff.
So like her arm was still attached to this thing.
But they cut the mechanisms out of the system. And when they put her on the stretcher and everything, her arm was still attached to it. So at least they didn't show us the hospital scene where they had to detach all of that because that would have been too much.
Right.
Yes.
That would have been very entertaining.
But as she's rolling out, she says, oh, Jarrett, you get to be the manager. And Jared's like, yes.
Yeah, and then turns over to Waysud and says, you're fired.
And I think everybody cheered because he was useless. So, nepotism. Just because you're family does not mean you need to be hired at my place of business.
No.
Yes. So then we see Hen peeking in on her new baby. Her and what's her? I can't remember her wife's name.
What wifey?
They had adopted their foster parents for this baby, and so
Hen and wifey were looking at the baby and we're like, oh, you're so cute.
Yeah, but then she goes out and she's actually having tea with Michael, who's visiting with her. She's lending him some tent camping stuff. So.
But wasn't that his apartment? It looked like his apartment. I don't think it was her apartment.
I don't know where it was, but she was putting the baby down. And he was sitting there, and they were making tea together. And they were talking about him going camping with Harry because that's something that they've always done,
Their
and
father
she wanted
daughter
to
gone.
make sure, like, you're going camping? What are you?
Supposed to have a brain tumor?
And he said, no, it's okay. You know, the doctor cleared me, and Bobby is gonna go with me with him, so that's good. At least Bobby's gonna be with him. He's not by himself.
Yeah.
So and it, you know, like we said, it's a tradition that he's done with his father, and he doesn't want to miss any time with Harry through his illness. So then we have May talking to her mom, Athena. She thinks her father is not having the surgery, and it's her fault because if you remember, you know,
last week
she had conversations with her dad about treatment, and then he all of a sudden said he's not doing nothing, which blew everybody away.
It's like, wait, what?
So May, you know, is talking to her mom, and her mom's saying, no, don't worry about it, it's not you. And then she walks away, leaving, and then she goes, oh, by the way, I got into USC. And she's like, what?
Oh my god, you got into USC?
But she can't even be excited about it because she's so worried about her dad.
Yeah.
So Albert is making out on Chim's couch with this beautiful girl, and Chim doesn't he doesn't approve because he's like, you're nastying up my couch, and you've had how many women in here? What are you doing? Right. And they're talking, and the poor girl is there.
And then it's like, oh yeah, I'm
some random club girl that you brought into the house.
So some random club girl. And then he's like, but I don't see like you and what's your name? Are happy. Yeah. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, but before he said that, the random club girl said, hey, by the way, I'm doing my PhD, so I am just some stupid girl.
Like, oh, sorry.
Well, sorry, you were just on the couch with my brother. Yeah, I just met you, so.
Yeah. So call a spade a spade.
So yeah, he accuses poor Albert of having a girl every night, and Albert's like, yeah, well, at least I'm getting some. I don't see you really doing nothing.
And then, right, and poor
like face deep.
Poor Chimney's like, wait, what?
What? I have a good life. What are you talking about?
I love her, and like, and we had sex on Wednesday. And it's like, oh, on Wednesday, eh? And it's like, yeah, on Wednesday.
So poor Chim is now looking at his relationship.
And going, oh no.
So meanwhile, Michael, Harry, and Bobby drive off for them to go camping, and they're heading out. But Michael's looking pretty woozy, and finally he pulls over and asks Bobby to drive. So
well, his hand was giving out, like his motor skills were giving out. So it was like, Mom and I were watching the whole thing of like that little part, and we're like, should he be driving?
Yeah, so we were pretty happy when Bobby took over the driving, right? Because you're just waiting for something to happen,
right? Because like it was like, oh my god, like. Doesn't he have a brain tumor? Like, I'm pretty sure it's not really, like, managed. Can't you have a seizure?
So Chim talks over his relationship with Hen and Eddie. He admits that he knows how he feels about Maddie, but he's not clear how she feels about him. And Eddie encourages him to tell her how he feels, and, you know, it will work its way out from there, but to at least tell her exactly how he feels. And Athena encourages May to celebrate her college acceptance. So, you know, they're talking about going out for dinner and having some girl time.
Going to the salon and all this stuff. Don't you guys miss that since lockdown?
Yeah, it's not like we did the salon too much, so it's not much different for us.
That's very true.
But Meg talks about she hasn't told her father about school yet, and she's really hesitant about telling any good news, knowing what's happening with him. So Michael moving slowly as Harry they get to the campsite, but Michael's looks really drained and tired, and Harry's all excited, and he wants to go explore the area and see what it is. And Bobby convinces Michael to have a rest while they go and do that. So, you know, Bobby's trying to ease things with Michael and sort of bridge the gap between him and Harry. And that's basically why Michael brought him in the first place, right?
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. So, in the second segment, a father and daughter team are renovating the daughter's house.
Oh, yeah.
So she asked him to put up a wall. She has an open concept, and she wants a dividing wall. and he's taken her through all the safety precautions.
How to use the nail gun,
and she's pointing it at him, and he's like, no, don't do that. The first thing you do is point it away. Make sure it's not pointed at anyone.
Exactly, and like, oh, this is how. Wait, it's jamming.
Yeah,
like it kept jamming, so like he turned it around, and he's like, why isn't this thing working?
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, like, square into his chest.
Yep, he got nailed.
Really, like he got nailed, and it was like, oh my god, like the daughter, like the girl's like, daddy, and he's like,
I think you need to call 911 as he falls back on his
like,
back.
Daddy.
It was, but you know, he was just telling her, don't point it at anyone. And what does he do? He points it at himself.
Right?
At least he did it to himself.
His chest, though. Like, it was in his chest.
Yeah, it was in his heart.
Like, he was so lucky. Like, I swear he had some angels or something looking after him, because, like, it missed. It was, like, this close to his heart.
Yeah. So the team arrives, and the nail is pretty much in his heart, and they move him without removing the nail because they can't take it out. They have to wait to get to the hospital. But
and he was conscious the whole time.
Yeah, our favorite thing about these things, they're conscious. Yeah,
conscious the whole.
But he begs his daughter, please don't tell Mom about this because she'll never let me live it down. Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Right? I would be like.
Yeah, so then they get into the ambulance. Chim and Hen are taking care of him in the ambulance. And of course, he gets I don't know.
The nail, like I guess with the moving, the moving in the car. I mean, in the truck
ambulance,
or whatever the thing. Ambulance. Thank you.
Yeah, it must have moved the nail because then blood comes spurting out, and they had to do chest compressions to help him out.
But which also made more blood come
out
because it's going into the heart, and then it made everything. So the next thing you know,
Buck opens up the doors when they get to the hospital, and poor Chim and Hen are covered in blood, and he's looking at them like
the entire place, and the entire thing is covered in blood, and they're like,
guy.
Are you okay?
Yes. And Chim decides that, okay, I'm going to definitely tell Maddie how I feel because I don't know what's going on with life right now. Yeah.
Exactly.
He's not taking any chances. And Michael gets upset at Bobby when he wakes up and realizes that Bobby had taken Harry out to investigate what the campsite was all about. He gets really pissed off at Harry. And
he's
for Harry,
you're not his dad or whatever.
But he insists on them doing things the traditional way. And then he finally admits that he's just trying to keep that going because his dad was not around to witness Harry coming into the world. And he just wants there to be memory of them.
So, in case he does die, which... He shouldn't, because then you should do the treatment.
To do.
But that's okay.
Yeah. But he also wants them to learn to be a family without him. He wants them to be able to stand together even if he's not there. So Maddie and Josh is Maddie's co-worker, if you remember, talk about why she thinks Chim wants them to go to this fancy dinner because Chim now decides he's going to tell her how he feels. So he's invited her to a fancy dinner. So he reminds her it's his place to be skittish. Josh reminds her it's his place to be skittish about any kind of date because remember he got attacked,
beat up,
when he tried to go on a date. So she's preparing for her date. Athena talks to Hen about Michael not doing what she thinks he should do. Hen reminds her that sometimes you can't prepare someone for something you are also not ready to face. So, you're trying to tell him how to handle it, yet really you're not quite ready to face if anything happens to him.
That's very true.
Yeah. Athena is afraid that if Michael dies, she won't be able to ease the children's pain. So it's not even about him dying or herself. It's about how her children will respond and how she would be able to help them.
But I think that the kids would be able to adjust a bit better than, let's say, she will, because like once again she has a lot more memories with Michael and all this stuff. Like the kids will remember the memories and love their dad during the process, but I feel like because she's already had so much loss.
It'll be hard on everybody.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's not who feels it more, who feels it less. It's just if you don't have to feel it at all, that would be the best thing.
Yeah, but
whatever
he's not exactly making that option available to other people, like of not feeling the pain of the situation.
So Chim and Maddie are on their date. They go to this revolving restaurant.
Ooh, it's almost like the CN Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's neat.
Yeah.
But they get the seat on the non-revolving part
because
of it.
They can't.
Yeah, because maybe they didn't book it on time. Because the outside revolves and then the inside is stationary. So they're on the inside while the outside is going around.
Those are very expensive seats.
Yes, he tells Maddie he loves her, and she explains that she's not ready to say the words. She has the feelings, but because of her experience with her ex, and I think with him, she used the word "I love you" to calm him down and get him away from her when he was being abusive. And it's hard for her to say those words, but she definitely has the feelings for him. Mm-hmm. So Chim assures her that, that's okay. I can say it enough for both of us. So,
I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
They're still doing well, but just that she's not ready to say the word.
Yeah.
So then for segment 3, Maddie notices this man getting ready to he pulls out a box and he's getting ready to give something to this woman, and they're on the revolving part. So as he pulls out this box, everybody, of course, is looking at them.
Ooh, it's a proposal.
And she's saying, oh, I wouldn't want to get proposed like that. Like, that's too public. That's too much. And then the man notices everybody watching
staring at him,
and he's starting to get nervous, and he drops the box.
Yeah, well, then like the girlfriend that's sitting there is like, oh, I'll get the box, babe. I'll get it.
And she bends down.
And looks at the box.
Yeah, and she opens it up. It's earrings.
It's earrings.
So she was not impressed. She was not impressed at all. Because she's saying it's been 5 years. After 5 years, you still haven't given me a ring. And she gets up and she's ready to get out. But then she gets stuck between the table and a wall because it's spinning. So it's moving around, and it moved into an area where there's a wall behind her, between her chair and everything. And as she got up, it moved and stuck her there. So now she's stuck. Mm-hmm. Yes, Chim and Maddie jump into action because they're trained. Yeah, they're there to get her loose. But when they finally get her loose and put her down, her pelvis has been
shifted,
separated. Yeah, so they're there working their magic and trying to help her. And she's on the ground. And then the man tells her he's never asked her to marry him because he didn't think she would say yes. 5 years.
I have a question. Like, what is the point of dating somebody for
5 years?
5 years.
If you don't think they're going to say yes.
Exactly. Like, what?
Have you never had the discussion?
Obviously
that
not.
You would know her response? Like, do you not talk about it at all for 5 years?
5.
I'm going out with you. I'm hanging out with you. We're doing things as a couple for 5 years, but I don't think you would say yes.
I don't even know how you get to 5 years without that conversation. Discussion. Like I can't even get to the first date without asking
all these
what exactly are you looking for? Like, oh wait, no, okay, thank
bye.
You, bye. For 5 years with the same man.
But at least he asked her in that moment, and she said yes.
So no, I would have said no. Because
you already messed up my hips. So forget it. No. She said yes. She was not as mean as you.
Well.
So Chim is about to say something to Maddie when she asked, were you going to ask me to move in? Because she was scared that he might have been asking her to say, will you marry me?
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, you going to ask me to move in? And he said, no, I'm just going to offer you a drawer.
A drawer. Yeah, that's all.
No moving in, just a drawer. That's it. But they got a nice offer because the restaurant was in a hotel, and because of how they quickly managed the situation, the hotel manager came and offered them a room for the night, and they got a big old suite.
Big old presidential looking suite. It had like, you know, a living room, a bedroom,
it was beautiful.
kitchen,
Yes.
and this.
Jim was quite happy. He was especially happy he didn't have to be with
Pay
Albert for the night. Yes, well, also that.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
I think that was more the excitement. Oh God, thank you. I don't have to pay for this.
So Michael apologizes to Bobby for being so edgy. And Bobby asks how he can be of help to Michael because he recognizes there's a lot of stuff going on. And rather than trying to be helpful and stepping on toes, just tell me what you need me to do and then I can do it for you. So Michael tells him his father didn't know Harry before he died and he regrets that he never met him. So he's asking Bobby to keep him and his father's memory alive for him. Because if he dies, there's no way for him to continue to remember Michael's dad because Michael's not there. So, he's thinking ahead that if anything happens to me, I want you to do the things for Harry that he will remember me and my father.
Well, he also said that because Harry is younger than May, there's a chance that he will forget him more so than May, because May has more ample time with him that it's like, oh, okay.
And it was sad, but they hugged and they both cried. That was nice to see.
It was like,
that, Bobby called Athena to say, everything's okay, don't worry about us, and we're heading home.
Mm-hmm.
So Chim returns home with Albert questioning where he was. Chim looking quite pleased with himself that,
everything is all good.
Yes. Meanwhile, Josh quizzes Maddie about her night with Chim, as he calls, as they're chatting. As she's talking to Chim, they were walking into the center and they were chatting about, the night. And then she calls to talk to Chim, to say how's your day going and so forth. And as they're talking, Josh turns around and drops his mug as he recognizes this guy that's in a police officer outfit, but it's actually his attacker. So, it's like you and I having a good chat, blah, 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 blah. And then I turn around and it's like, oh, God, what is he doing here? And he drops his mug.
Like somebody just randomly goes, hey, Tara. And I go,
yes. So, but then the guy pulls out a gun. And he has a partner with him. They both have gun.
It wasn't even like a tiny little gun.
No,
it was like a automatic machine gun. I'm like, my Lord, these
and
people
then he instructs Maddie to get off the phone because she was just talking to Chim at the time. But before she hung up the phone, she says, "I love you, Howie."
Yeah.
And if you remember, she just told him at dinner that she can't say I love you. So that was her signaling him. And these guys have taken over the call center. So that show was like,
right? We're like, oh my God, our blood pressure.
What's going up?
I literally needed to relax my blood pressure.
I know, every time you watch 911, it's like pins and needles. Sometimes I swear we want to pause just so we can breathe.
Right.
And we don't watch this show live.
No.
We watch it after it's aired, so it takes us a little while to get back to you with it because we cannot watch it live. No. It's just too heart pumping.
We really
But that's
can't.
A good show. When a show does that for you, that's
fantastic. Because it's like, oh my God. It makes you just want to.
So here are one-liners for this week. Looks like you hit the bullseye. So that was when the guy got the nail in his chest. Looks like he hit the bullseye. That's so funny. That was cute. That was Chim. Embrace the not knowing. Let it force you to live each day. And that was Hen to Michael. To Athena.
I think that statement is very relevant right now. That to just don't worry about tomorrow, don't worry about yesterday, just live in the moment right now as much as we can. Yes. And to keep going You know,
we can only go day by day. You
Yeah.
know, there are a lot of people that want to know, when can we get out? When can we do this? When can we do that? No one knows. And this is something new for everyone. So if we just live in the moment and respond in each moment, we will all get through this together.
Exactly.
So our last one is Eddie.
There you
Tomorrow
go.
not promised to anyone. Tell her you love her. That was his advice to Chim about Maddie. And we say that to you. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone, so tell your loved one every day that you love them, because we don't know where, especially right now, how things are gonna pan out for any of us. So
I tell my mom that all the time, and she gets really annoyed, but that's okay. I don't mind. I love you, Mom.
It's okay. I love you too, honey. Okay, so that's it for our March 30th episode of 911.
Okay, thanks guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment.
And
Be safe, kind, and loving.
Bye.
Bye.